This shir is dedicated to all the precious souls who showed up. And they are many. So, Mamer Chaf'e Perek Aleph, Discourse 25, Chapter 1, Kuntres Umayan. Why? Why do I need to earn my livelihood? Why do I need to go after it? If it all comes from Hashem, why do I need to do something here? I spoke before about bitachon b'Hashem. I trust in Hashem that Hashem will provide me with everything, so then I don't have to do anything. I could do my avodat Hashem. That's the part that He wants me to, but the rest, it's going to come. Birds, if I'm correct, birds, animals, at least most of them, find many of them, we actually have the responsibility to provide for them. They're not on the books, they're not employed, they're not paying taxes, they don't have credit cards, right? They don't have to deal with all of this. Why is it that we need to get involved in the process of earning our livelihood if it comes from Hashem and if it's already all decided? And guess what? We have a pasuk for that. The pasuk says, "Uverachecha Hashem Elokecha." Hashem your God will bless you. So if Hashem blessed you, you're blessed. If you're blessed, what is there to be concerned about? What is there to be anxious about? Why do I even need to go out and do anything? I'm blessed. And the answer is, Hashem blesses you. In everything that you will do. The deed is necessary. Because we live in the world of deeds. Olam ha-asiyah. World of action. So I need to take action. Like the good book says, God blessed you. Now go prove it. We need to go prove it. That's all. And that really explains why it's important to keep a proper balance. To keep a proper balance in our relationship with our livelihood, with our earnings. The proper relationship, the proper balance is that I got to do something in order to go claim it. But I cannot do too much, otherwise I'm going to ruin it. Inside. Now we will understand what it says in Devarim. Hashem, your God will bless you. In everything that you will do. It says in the Medrash, what does this pasuk teach us? One could think that you can sit idle and do nothing and Hashem bless you and you don't have to do anything. Talmud Loimar, the verse is teaching us that Bechol asher ta'aseh, shetzricha liot asiyah. There is a need for action. You need to take part in the process. V'hainu, which means hachanat keli, you need to prepare a proper vessel, a proper vehicle, shel parnasa, for your livelihood. Okay? You need to wake up in the morning. We said last week, there are 6 days of work, and then there is a 7th day of rest. Hashem didn't say there's a day of rest. Hashem says this. Sheshet yamim ta'aseh melacha, u'ta'aseh melachtecha, u'vayom hashvi'i tishbot. In order to get to the 7th day when you rest, you first need to work for 6 days. וזהו אחד ההבדלים בין זמן הגלות בעבודת הבירורים, בין זמן ובין הזמן דלעתיד בביאת המשיח. This is one of the major differences between the time of exile and the time of redemption. Redemption is mainly we're going to be redeemed from the hustle that we have to go through in order to provide for ourselves and for our families. It's actually interesting here that he describes the difference between Galut and Geula as per our relationship with our livelihood. The biggest struggle of Galut is the fact that someone cannot provide. Basically, that's what it's saying. Someone that doesn't have parnasa.
That's the worst of Galut?
That's the word. The way he described what the definition of Galut. He says, Echad ha'evdelim. One of the differences, there are many differences, but one of the differences here that he emphasizes here, there is En ben David ba ad shetichle pruta min hakis. Ben David, the son of David, which is King Mashiach, will appear, will arrive, will come when there will be no more coins left in the pocket. Which means going into your pocket to look for $1 and not finding one is a horrible challenge. It's a terrible challenge. But that's a sign that we're on the deepest galut and it's time for Mashiach to come. So I think we have passed that time many times. Right? Because there's no more cash. Right? So, but the point is that לעתיד, הנה שפע חסד העליון יבוא מאיתו יתברך. The shefa, the abundance of livelihood, the shefa is going to come directly from Hashem. בלא שום התעסקות. והכנת כלי. We won't have to do anything. It's going to be all available. It's going to be boring a little bit, but that's the purpose. We're going to be fully retired from our work and we'll be able to dedicate ourselves to Torah study and to serving Hashem without interruption because we have what we need. We're going to have what we need. בלי שום התעסקות והכנת כלי עסק בשביל פרנסה. We're not going to have to do any occupation in order to earn our פרנסה. שאין כן בזמן הגלות צריכים התעסקות בהכנת כלי לפרנסה. In time of exile, we do need to have ourselves involved in doing some kind of work, some form of effort in order to earn our living, our sustenance. Why is it? וטעם הדבר שצריכה להיות עשייה דווקא. Why is the reason that we need to take action? ומאחר שההשפעה צריכה להיות נמשכת על ידי לבושי עשייה. We live in the world of עשייה. We live in the world of action. So what is the reason we need to? What is the reason we need to do something? Remember we said last week, if you see something,
do something.
Do something. If you see something, do something. Why is it? Because we're in the world of do. We're in the world of action. Olam ha'asiyah. Because we are in the world of asiyah, so any energy that comes from a divine source, if you want it to be relevant in our space, if you want divine energy to be relevant in our space, you need to bring it down to our space. We are in the world of action, so if you want to draw down the divine energy into your space, the way you are physically, materially in the world, you need to do a material, physical action in order to bring it down. Why is that? על כן גם האדם, אתם, שהוא בדוגמה של מעלה. So the human beings, Adam, the person, a man, who is created an image of God, just like Hashem needs to transform its abstract divine energy into material goods, Hashem needs to take his divine abstract energy and transform it into tangible goods. That's what he does. Right? Because the reason a fruit is sweet, because there is hashpa'a in it. There is influence in it of the kindness, the divine kindness. Chesed of Atzilus. In a fruit, there is chesed Atzilus. In a spicy pepper, there is gvura in it. There's gvura in it. Yeah. In a sweet and sour, There's chesed and gvura blended together. Now in Atzilus, chesed doesn't taste like a juicy mango or a kiwi or an apple. It's fully, completely abstract. But the sweetness in this world comes from the chesed of Atzilus. It is the same thing. It's just transformed. It's a GMO.
Genetically modified.
Yeah, it's modified organism. It's modified organism. It's the same that has been modified. Why? Because, like I said before, where you take a piece of wood, you burn it, it becomes ashes. Where does the ashes come from? Yeah. So from the wood, from the piece of wood. Does any of the texture of the ashes resemble to the actual wood? Is it comparable? Can you say that a piece of wood, a tree, is solid ashes? No. But can you say that the ashes come from another source than the actual wood? No, either. But they're not comparable. So divine energy at its source, which is chesed of Atzilus, is very abstract, very intense. The way it comes down here, it's modified. It's modified, it's changed, it's then transformed to material goods. So, same thing regarding our own parnasa. We are called Adam ala Elyon. We're similar to the one above. So we also have to process our sustenance, our allowance that comes from Chesed Atzilus, and we need to create we need some kind of hardware that will become the channel, the vehicle for that energy. In other words, we have a problem with the fact that Parnasa is not easy. And Hashem is like, that's exactly why this world exists. This universe, this space exists exactly for that. Because I created this in a way that just like I need to take my energy and transform it, I need you to take your energy and transform it in order to go and claim your spiritual divine energy and bring it to your own space, to your own world. And now we're going to go more into, deeper into it. Why is it? Because when we're talking about the divine, we can always ask why. Because, after all, he's not forced to do things a certain way. So, why couldn't he create us the way we are now and still give us what we need? It's called welfare. So here's the reason why. Here's the reason why some people need to work and some people need to have a factory. Why some people need to have a factory. In Yeshaya, it says in Yeshaya, Achein ata kel mistater. Yes, truly, indeed, you are a God that hides, that conceals himself. Be'elokut in Gettlichkeit, yesh kel agalui vesh kel mistater. There's the revealed God and there's the concealed God. Okay, I thought we were monotheists. I thought we believed in one God. Here says there's two. There's the one that conceals and the one that is revealed. And they are in two opposite steps, categories. Teva, nature, ulemala me'ateva, and above nature. Now, everybody agrees that there is nature and there is above nature. Everybody agrees. Everybody agrees that nature means a set of rules, and everybody agrees that the sets of rules can be defied. But nobody can explain how. Because there's a rule. Right? And we say that every rule has an exception. Right? So is that also a rule? Or it has an exception? So באמת מובן ומושג גם בשכל אנושי. It's understood in a rational way, in a human intellect, שהאלוקות המתלבש בלבושי הטבע הוא האלוקות, מה שלמעלה מהטבע. The divine energy in nature is the same source and the same as the one above nature. רק ההבדל בין האלוקות שבטבע לאלוקות שלמעלה מהטבע הוא לגבי הנבראים. The only difference is what we are able to actually contain and what we're not able to contain. The level of godliness within nature we are able to tap into. The אלוקות אין הבדל בין כלל אם הוא בלבושי הטבע או שהוא גלוי בלא לבושי הטבע. For the energy itself it doesn't make a difference. וההפרש הוא רק לגבי הנבראים. It's only for the creatures that it makes a difference. האלוקות שמתלבש בטבע צריכים התבוננות, והאלוקות שלמעלה מהטבע אין צריכים התבוננות. Very simple. Nature is a pseudonym. It's a pseudonym of God. So, in order for you to know that God is behind it, you need to think. You need to use your mind. דע את אלוקי אביך, או תמיד זה to get to know, וידע את הים והשבות על אביך. You need to get some awareness, some consciousness. But when you see something completely above the rules of nature, miraculous, but you don't need to think about it. It's obvious that it's a miracle. Right? לזה הוא פירוש טבע. טבע, nature, כפשוטו, is from the מלשון טובעו בים סוף. Drowned in the water. In the Yam Suf, like the Egyptians. My son's very confused. He doesn't know who are the Egyptians and who are the magicians. Because there are the Egyptian magicians who took the staff and also transformed it into a snake and took the water and transformed it. So the Egyptians, the magicians, is not sure who is who, but there's something going on these days with the Yam Suf. שהדבר שנטבע בים, הנה מהים מכסים עליו, שאינו ניכר כלל שיש לו איזה מציאות דבר מלבד המים. What does it mean something is drowned? Is that the water conceals it, the water covers it so much that you're unable to tell that there's something that exists. You can't even tell that it exists. Can you say that it does not exist because I can't see it? You take a coin, you throw it in the ocean. Did the coin disappear? Did the coin cease to exist?
Disappeared. You're not gonna convince me that it disappeared. I know it was there.
So my son said it misappeared.
It disappeared.
Yeah. I don't know where it is. It misappeared. So it misappeared. It's not apparent anymore, but it's there. Right? אבל באמת, הנה בזה שהדבר מכוסה, הרי אין הכיסוי מבטל מציאותו כלל, ואין זה אלא שאינו נראה להרואים. רק דבר המכסה. You see what covers it. You only see water. You can't see through. It's funny because water is see-through, but you can't see through. The layers of water makes it, and the light makes it unable to. On one hand, water is see-through.
Completely.
Yeah, but on the other hand, because of the light, you can't see through. You see a reflection of your face. So, ואין זה אלא שאינו נראה להרואים. אבל באמת, הנה המכוסה הוא במציאותו ומהותו כמו שהוא בגלוי ממש. The item that is being concealed is identical to how it was when I was able to see it. It's the same. Nothing changed. כן הוא באלוקות, המסתתר בלבושי הטבע. So too is for the divine energy that conceals itself into the settings of nature. דלבושי הטבע הם רק מכסים על האלוקות. That really nature conceals the divine energy, but only for the creatures who are trying to see it. But for God himself,
the energy is not affected.
The energy is not affected. Exactly. Yeah. באמת, now he's adding. המשל של מי הים מכסים על הדבר מכוסה, אינו משל אמיתי על לבושי הטבע. It's not even accurate, the example of the water. Why? אינו משל אמיתי על לבושי הטבע מכסים על אלוקות. המים המכסים הנמצא בתוכם. הרי הדבר הנמצא והמים הם שני עניינים נבדלים. לא המים יצרו את הדבר הנטבע בהם, ולא הדבר המכוסה בהמים ברא את המים המכסים עליו. At the end of the day, I can definitely consider the idea that water can be a threat to the coin that fell in it. They're two separate entities. The water did not create the coin did not create the water, and therefore, if the water is stronger, so the coin is absorbed by the water. It doesn't disappear, the coin doesn't disappear, but you can't see it anymore. When Hashem hides himself, conceals himself, when the divine energy conceals himself into nature, nature is made by him. It's part of him. So there's no way that you can say that when you're trying to hide, if you're trying to hide, you don't want someone to see you, so how does the baby does? What does the baby do?
Hide himself.
Where am I? Yeah? You know what my son said? Where are me? Where are me? Yeah.
This is why we love the French.
Yeah. Where are me? Pretty cute, no? Yeah. So where are me? Where are me? Can you see me? You cannot use your own self to conceal yourself. And etzem mastir al etzem. You know, there's an interesting implication on this. That if chas v'shalom a person doesn't have a kippah, so what are you supposed to do?
Take your friend's hand, put it on top of your head.
Take your friend's hand. So if you don't have your kippah falls down, so I put you, yeah. Okay, why? Why not use your own hand? And your hand cannot cover your head. It's part of you. Cannot use yourself to cover. Now, what if your son is part of you? Your child puts his hand on your head. Does that help? The answer is yes. Because it's still a separate entity. However, according to halacha, if your wife puts her hand on your head, it's not considered covering. Because ishtoi kegufoi damya. It's like your body. That's why your wife can tell you you are nobody. Because she's like your buddy. Right? Yeah. Ishto kegufo damya. So here, you can't even say, you can't compare nature to the water. That nature, why? Because nature is not a separate thing. Nature is not a curtain that blocks from seeing God. Nature is made by God, and God is using. We have the example. I think he's going to bring it down, but in Tanya he brings the example. In Tanya there is a. He brings down the example. I believe it's from Zohar from Gemara. Kehadein kamsa delevushe mine ube. Like this turtle, yeah, that its shell is made from its body. You see the shell of the turtle, it's not a separate thing. It's here to protect the actual body, so it's a shell. But the shell itself grows from the body itself. So even the shell, even the klipa, who enabled it, who created nature? Hashem himself. So nature is not at all a threat, not at all something that can block the presence of God. It's just that Hashem decided to be concealed by it. So to him, it's for sure not affecting him. Again, in the example of the water and the item in the water, the coin in the water, the coin is one entity and the water is another entity. And water did not create the coin did not create the water. It's the divine that enables the existence of nature. He not only created them, but he makes them exist. He feeds them. He feeds their existence every moment. It is the same. I think that there is best example for today. Which part of the tequila is dark? The liquid. None of it.
Oh, yeah.
That's the bottle.
The bottle or
The bottle of the
I said tequila. Yeah.
Okay.
I said tequila. So what's my point here? The fact that there is different shades on the outside,
Doesn't change the inside.
doesn't change the inside. Now, here, it's still two separate things. Right? Imagine that the inside really is what creates the outside. Just like the turtle, we give the example of the turtle that has its shell. So, can you say that the shell is blocking, hiding on the turtle? It does, but it's made from it, from it. So it's all the same. וכמו שפירש רבינו נשמת עדן בספר של בינונים, like the Alter Rebbe, who is the Bala Hilula of tomorrow night, the Bala Tanya Rabbi Shneur Zalman Liliadi on Chavdalet B'Teves, writes in Sefer Shel Beinonim Perek Yutes, in the 19th chapter of Tanya, that the word Teva, Shem Teva הוא תואר לדבר מה שהוא למעלה מטעם ודעת. What do you mean when you say that's nature? What are you trying to say? It's a reality, it's a fact that we're unable to explain. Or we just know de facto that that's how it is, right? That's nature. Nature is not rational. Nature is not explainable. You cannot explain how you take a seed, you plant it in the earth, and a tree grows. You cannot explain. You cannot rationalize it. Once it's there and it exists, you can explain what is going on.
The seed ferments and germinates, but what
Yeah,
causes that?
but yeah, and why would something ferment? And why would ferment? Then why would it become fertile? And why would with the earth? Why not? I don't know if you put it in the water, put it in the egg, put it. I don't know. Why? It's nature. What if you put water? This is what's going to happen. If you put something, another substance, another reaction, and you can discuss and philosophize on the facts. You cannot explain why this is happening. You don't have an explanation. The Shem Teva הוא תואר לדבר מה שהוא למעלה מטעם ודעת. המובן הוא מושג בשכל הטבעי. והנבראים הנה מצד הרגילות והתמידיות, שהשמש דורך במזרח ושוקע במערב, וכן בשערי העניונים שהאלוקות מסתתר בלבושים שונים. Human beings, creatures, by seeing divine cycles in nature, you see the sun rise. It's nature. Can you explain why the sun rises? When we observe cycles of nature, and we don't understand. Like when Mendy says something we don't understand, we hear what he's saying. We don't understand why. We agree by default to what he's saying.
Understand why he's saying.
Yeah. And we say, that's nature. And therefore, because nature means a cycle, by the way. Teva comes from the word tube'u b'yamsuf, drowned, but it also comes from the word tabat, a ring. It's a cycle. So when you see cycles like nature, therefore, what's the reaction? No reaction. There's no reaction because it's normal. Why gratitude is so difficult for human beings? Because we live in cycles. We get used to it. You're hungry, you eat. You feel better. You need to make. You go. No, you're tired, you sleep. You wake up, you're fresh again. You're hungry, you eat. And you're like, whoa, that's nature. Why should I appreciate it? It's the bare minimum. Granted, thank you. They need to pay attention. Then they understand the real truth. What's the real truth? The Teva atzmo הוא למעלה מהטבע. Teva itself is higher than nature. You need to realize that nature, the Teva is higher than Teva. אומנם דבר זה להבין את טבע עצמו למעלה מהטבע, אינו מובן כי אם על ידי התבוננות במכת הדעת. No one is born with awareness. There's something that needs to happen in order for a person to have awareness. התבוננות והעמקת הדעת. דהיינו, בהשקפה ראשונה יכולים לטעות בזה, that at first glance you can make a mistake and think that it's granted, natural, it's normal. ורק כשמתבוננים, אז עומדים על אמיתת הדבר. But when we pay attention, we realize the טבע עצמו הוא עניין אלוקי של מעלה מהטבע. That nature itself is divine, which is above nature. I remember saying recently, there was, my wife had an accident. I remember 2 years ago. 2 years ago, my wife was walking and a screwdriver fell off a window on her head. Screwdriver on her head, and the band of the shaitel saved her, but she had stitches and made a hole. She was pregnant. It could have fallen her. She was with the carriage. Could have fallen the baby. And a crazy story. The point is, it's already 2 years. My point then was like, it's not the miracle that nothing happened. The miracle is every day that you walk and nothing happens is a miracle. The odds, the probabilities of everything going smooth, of a person waking up in the morning, going to work and coming back and driving and sending your kids to school and everything is, eating and swallowing and not choking is a miracle. Nature is above nature. לכל זה הוא באלוקות המלובש בדרכי לבושי הטבע, שהוא כל מסתתר, אבל כל הגלוי, the revealed guy, in אופן הגתלכkeit, הרי ניגלה וניגלה לכל. In אופן הגתלכkeit, in revealed godliness, which is in a different sphere, divine is obvious, ואין צריכים על זה שום התבוננות, we don't need any thought in order to get it. There's a saying, just finish with this, it says that by human beings, by creatures, is עולמות בפשיטות ואלוקות בהתחדשות. Existence of the world is obvious, and the existence of God, you need to prove it. By tzaddikim is the opposite. The opposite is elokut b'pshitut. The divine existence is obvious. Olamot, that the world exists, bring me proof. Oh, the fact that you see and feel something, maybe it's an illusion, maybe it's nothing. They don't see it.
A simulation.
Yeah.